Hey guys, welcome to The Strong Young Man. A man's purpose is the most visible aspect of what men are. Society expects it, and women look for it. Unfortunately, it takes time for men to realise their purpose and then build upon it. This is one of the biggest challenges of being a young man. You need to begin to explore what it is that you were put on this planet to do. If you don't know, do something you enjoy and do it well. In the words of the immortal Ayn Rand, there is no such thing as a lousy job, only lousy men who don't care to do it. Work hard at something, and you will identify gaps in society that need to be filled. Your purpose will come to you as long as you're open to it. It will not come to you if you are lazy and you float through life. Mine came to me at age 30, but it could have come a lot sooner had I been paying more attention or made better decisions and worked harder in my early 20s. What will happen if you don't have a purpose? Relationships are compromised when a man doesn't have a purpose. By lacking passion and having no purpose, you weaken yourself. You cheat society out of a strong man who can offer benefit to the group. You cheat your woman out of the fulfilling relationship that she desires. Women do not want a man who lacks passion. Women find men who are respected by other men to be most desirable. Men respect other men who have a purpose. Women don't want a man who is always available because he has no purpose, despite what they may say otherwise. Pay attention here because this bears repeating. Women will say they want their man to give them attention, yet will be attracted by and devote themselves to a strong man who is passionate and devotes himself to his purpose. This is a woman's shit test to see if you can rise above it. A man's purpose is part of his appeal, and if you don't want to lose your woman, don't neglect your purpose. A good woman will be tolerant of a man who is still trying to find his purpose, but you better find it before it's too late. If you fail to meet her expectations, she will eventually leave you. A woman who is with a man who doesn't have a purpose is forced to become more masculine than she is comfortable with. To keep the balance, the man must become more feminine, and women resent a feminine man that forces them to become more masculine. They see their man as unmanly and will leave him as soon as they can to find a more masculine man who fulfills his masculine burden of performance. If you don't have a purpose, it will not only be women casting you aside, but you will be cast aside by society in general. Think of homeless people. 98% living on the streets are men. Psychologist Roy Baumeister summarised this perfectly when he said that women aren't required to earn their status as women. They are considered women at physical maturity, regardless of behaviour. It's different for men. Societies throughout time and across cultures have insisted that men earn their manhood, so we can't rest on our laurels. Like it or not, we must continuously earn our manhood. At its most basic, that means that a man is expected to produce more than he consumes. If the culture can convince most or all of the men to produce more than they consume, the culture will be rich and have a surplus at least that it can use to take care of many who cannot take care of themselves, including the children, the elderly, the sick, and the injured. Women didn't impose this on men. Men have taken up this role willingly, due to their strength and natural physical advantages. With no strong men around to guide them and encourage the development of their purpose, most men have zero direction and don't mature until they are well into their 30s. This is the primary reason why boys are experiencing great difficulty in their transition to young men. Is it fair that men are loved only under the condition that they are useful? No. Life wasn't made to be fair. As mentioned previously, men impose this on themselves. Don't waste time questioning it, just accept that it's part of being a man. Acquiesce to the situation that you are in and get busy finding a purpose. You need to fulfill your masculine role and contribute to a rich society. Think of your hero, your real hero, not an insignificant sports star. If he is male, he is most likely your idol because he fulfilled his masculine burden of performance and provided benefit to society through hard work. Jordan Peterson, Martin Luther King Jr., Albert Einstein, and Bill Gates, to name a few. Like these people, find a purpose and let it consume you. Your purpose should be so important that it keeps you from sleeping, eating, and drinking. It will fulfill you and leave you going to bed at night satisfied with the day that you've had. You should never get bored with your purpose. Everything you do from the moment you wake up until the moment you go to bed should be aligned with it. You don't have to spend every waking minute working on it, but you should not engage in activities that corrupt or inhibit your ability to achieve your purpose. Above everything else, you should never ever apologise for your purpose, ever. Eliminate the negative people in your life that oppose your purpose. You don't need anyone telling you how to live your life, especially if they are telling you to slow down or to take a break. When you love what you do, you'll not get tired of it. Passionate people who have found their purpose do not take breaks or holidays because they love what they do. Every day is a holiday. You need to be obsessed if you want to be excellent, otherwise you'll be average. People need to understand that passionate people recharge themselves by achieving greatness. You can be good at your day job, but aspire to be great at your passion, your labour of love. There is no shame in a day job, but when you get home from work, you should be working on your passion, the job you actually want to be doing. Your day job is only a means to an end, a way to finance your passion. Work on your passion after work. Remember, idle hands are the devil's workshop, the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 27. Use the spare time with a sense of urgency. Do not succumb to all the weaknesses in your house: junk food, TV, video games, and porn. These activities hinder your ability to cultivate your purpose. Poor people have big TVs, rich people have big libraries. Jim Rohn. If you sense that there should be more meaning to your life, then you have not yet found your purpose. If you feel incomplete, then deep down you desire to achieve something more. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. Henry David Thoreau. The majority of men cling to bullshit jobs that they just don't care about, out of fear of what they will lose by exploring opportunities. I'd argue that the masses of men are actually fearful of the success and not the failure. Your purpose is not something to be feared, it is to be sought. To find the meaning to your life, do stuff that you enjoy doing. Pay attention to what you feel you are drawn to and move towards it. You must take action as you move towards it. Inaction will result in you missing the opportunity, and it may not present itself to you again. Most people won't consider doing something that they aren't passionate about, especially when it gets hard. If you can do something when it's not fun, even when you're exhausted, bored, and want to give up, then you have found your calling. Your calling, if worked on properly, will not be easy. It's well understood by classical music critics that Mozart, the child prodigy famous for composing music, still took approximately 10 years of experience composing to write his famous works. It just so happened that he started this at 4 years of age. His young mind enabled him to understand music faster and allowed him to fully immerse himself in his music. He worked so hard to unlock his full potential. He didn't magically come by his talent, he cultivated it. He loved music with a passion, which enabled him to work through the difficult times rather than quit. Generally, your purpose will be moulded on something that sparks primal curiosity. You will identify something missing in the world and yearn to fill it. It will stand out to you because you have a premonition that something in the world is not right or complete. A lot of this will occur within your subconscious. It is your job to become conscious of your purpose. At an important moment, you will have an inciting incident, an epiphany. You will decide to become more than a bystander, to step up and do something significant. You desire to put thoughts into actions. You will feel drawn to something, like it is calling you towards it. This is where we get the phrase, find your calling. The word vocation actually comes from the French word vocare, which means to call. Martin Luther King Jr. felt this call. He said he heard someone literally calling his name towards the Montgomery bus boycott civil rights movement, and he moved towards it. Don't ignore this when it happens to you if you want your life to have any sort of meaning. Before the call comes, you must understand that you could be awakened to your purpose at any moment. Awareness to the potential that you could have a calling is the best strategy to prepare for this day when it comes. Before your calling is identified, you must believe that you will be called to something. In order to cultivate awareness, you must be willing to explore the possibility that anything could be your purpose. If you aren't open to this, you could miss the call. These realizations actually come to us all, but only the ones who are ready for them will recognize them. You must be ready for it in order to identify your purpose. Keep in mind that your contribution to our culture can take many forms, and no one purpose is superior to another. The most important aspect is that your purpose is tied to you personally, and that you make your connection as deep to it as possible. Look for primal inclinations in your earliest years. What were you interested in? What traumas have you experienced in your adolescent years that you can use as motivation to serve the world? For most people, identifying their purpose will take continual introspection. Understand, the earlier you can do this, the earlier you build the foundation of your happiness for the rest of your life. Associating with people who already have a sense of purpose will allow you to absorb their energy. Being around people with a high sense of direction can help you identify your own purpose. Similarly, associating with people who have a sense of aimlessness will infect you with this trait. Seek out teachers, mentors, or people you can partner with who have a high sense of purpose to help you identify yours. Once identified, everything you do in your day should be aligned with your purpose. Your purpose should come above all else, including your woman. Don't let your woman come between you and your purpose. If you do, you are not only losing touch with your purpose, but you are letting your woman dictate how you should behave, and this is not the behaviour expected of men. In the same way that a woman doesn't have respect for you if you don't have a purpose, your woman will lose respect for you if you lose touch with your purpose by way of letting her dictate how you should behave. Instead, maintain the focus to your purpose by operating with the end goal in mind. At the same time, seek out calibrated challenges. Focus on smaller, more manageable goals to avoid becoming overwhelmed or distracted. When you maintain the vision of the end goal while setting challenging deadlines, you will be energized and maintain a solid focus to that challenge. This enables the brain to work itself into a higher gear. Learn to confront the painful aspect of pushing yourself past your limit. Cultivate the pleasure in your pain. Similar to an athlete, the pain of your challenges will bring about an increased ability to handle it in the future. Push past them and don't take the easy way out. This will create a higher level of stress that the human body will compensate for. Putting yourself in uncomfortable situations will allow you to build up resistance to the psychological stresses. You need to expose yourself to an appropriate level of stress in manageable increments to ensure that a low dose of exposure will enable your brain to build up a tolerance to that stress. During his lifetime, Martin Luther King wasn't very popular with the majority. Only in death did he become a martyr. Embrace life's negative experiences, and over time, your body will adapt to cope better. Take advantage of the body's ability to adapt and increase your exposure at a manageable rate. Once you can do this, the everyday stresses and anxieties that people cause for you will seem insignificant. Your ability to bounce back from this adversity will give you ineluctable momentum. If you need more assistance in finding your purpose, then I suggest you read The Art of Work by Jeff Goins. Once you have read this, if you need to gain a better understanding of what it takes to succeed at your purpose, read Mastery by Robert Greene. Final thought from Leonardo da Vinci. Similarly to a well-spent day bringing a peaceful sleep, a well-spent life will bring a peaceful death. Thanks for watching today's episode. In episode 43, I'll cover why you need to master your emotions. Subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified when it drops. Catch you then.